Okay. Ready?
I'm trying.
All right, y'all. I don't know if this is the same link or a new link. Somebody, Robin says, still here. We've got one person watching us, and I don't care. I am so happy. Look, it seems to be working.
It's pretty terrible quality.
I know, terrible quality. I'm going to blame this on our internet. And yeah, I'm really sorry, you guys. Look, people are still here. You all are the best. I don't even know if you can, like, hear us or see us or if we're super low quality. But this is kind of the epitome of life on the road, right? We're sitting here. We've had great internet for the last couple of weeks. And for some reason today, when we want to do a live stream, it decides to go down.
We have quite literally been watching Netflix and Hulu and Sling all day, every day for the last 2 weeks when we're not out running or hiking or something, while we're just
Exactly.
sitting around and working. And it works just fine until just now.
Well,
But
it seems like it's
you
kind
know,
of working right now.
like
All right, cheers to
like the good
technical
people out there
difficulties.
said, that's what rum and whiskey and all that stuff is for. And my dad was giving me a little grief because if he can figure out how to log on to our live chat, we should figure out how to do things on our end. But now we'll see if he figures out how to find our second live chat after we had to cancel the first one.
Well, look, 46 people already did. So, and somebody just commented that it's like a little bit pixelated, but as long as you can hear us, that's fine. Because honestly, I kind of feel like a live video chat is, I mean, it's a little bit like a podcast anyway, right? Like, I mean, we're sitting here and I'm not really going to do any tricks for you. So you're probably just going to sit there and listen to us and maybe enjoy a drink. And you can look at our beautiful faces, but it's really honestly kind of like a podcast. So
probably makes me look prettier being all pixelated and everything. So, I got that going for me.
Yeah, right? We can do some pixel effects.
Oh gosh, we got another person from Parker, Colorado here that's not the balls.
Yeah.
And not Megan.
All right, so let's like officially start. We're 2.5 minutes into our second try of this already. So we wanted to do a YouTube live stream. We have done a couple of Facebook live streams, which a lot of you may have seen, but we realized that a lot of our our YouTube audience doesn't necessarily follow along with our day-to-day. You guys don't always get to see us when we mess up. Which we just gave you a great taste of. And so we just thought this would be a really fun platform to kind of tell you about what's been going on over the last, Discovering Loch Ness discovered our little super chat.
Super chat, a thing that we really
have no idea about.
Don't know what that is or how it works, but
a cheap beer for us. So yeah, the other thing about YouTube is that we can enable this cool little thing called Super Chat, which apparently lets you have pay money, whatever you want. $2.25 now gets us a gallon of gas. And
it's actually $2.40.
Comment gets stuck up there. So I don't know. We're obviously new to this whole thing. So if nothing else, hopefully we can entertain you guys. In any case, so we wanted to talk a little bit about like what we've been doing. A lot of you guys don't know us. A lot of you guys do know us. So I guess we'll kind of start off with where we're at in this COVID situation. It has affected everyone tremendously. I don't care who you are. It's had some kind of effect on you. So back in March, we were headed down from the Grand Canyon to Big Bend because we were going to have a photo workshop in Big Bend. And we stopped at our friends in Arizona on the way. And when we were literally stopped for like an overnight stop, that's when the serious news of this COVID thing might actually be a thing happened. And we were like, wait a second, maybe we shouldn't drive all the way to Texas. Maybe we're going to have to cancel our workshop. So we sat there for another day or two. And sure enough, like that's when S hit the fan. And we were like, nope, not going any further. And we wound up in Arizona for a month when we expected to be there for like a day. And after we had spent a
Like
month,
40 days.
40
Not
days,
a
yeah,
month.
probably like 5 weeks, yeah, 5, 6
yeah.
weeks.
It was a while.
And then it got hot, and we decided to drive up to Colorado, where it's cool and beautiful. And we have been here for like a month,
Yeah.
probably. So all in all, we were actually just kind of talking about this. I don't know the exact number of days, but in 2020, we have been dry camping or boondocking. And if you don't know what that means, that's basically camping on free public land, which is legal, but no hookups, no electric, no water, no sewer, nothing. Just legal public land to camp on. And we have been doing that for like 90% of 2020. There were a couple days where we stayed in some friends' driveways, and a week where we went to my parents to take care of a little mouse problem, which we'll get to later. So we've had like an unusual experience isolating and social distancing, and I mean, just basically living off the land with our solar power. So we're kind of excited to talk about that with our YouTube people who we don't usually get to talk to about that.
It's kind of nice for a like mostly introverted person like me. I like to just go out and run and be by myself and not be around that many people, because I don't know, I've never liked being around big groups of people that much. So it's been almost paradise. Been able to go out and just get a lot of runs in, and then we sit in the camper and get some work done, and it's been pretty nice.
I mean,
Also,
aside
if you
from the
see
fact we
me
had to cancel
looking over to the side here, it's not because I see a squirrel or anything. I've got my computer out and I'm responding to comments
It's totally a
as
squirrel. Let me
as
angle
people
this
are
one.
commenting, so that way we're tag teaming this entire thing that's going on here.
Yeah, we have no idea what we're doing.
And Mandy's like reaching
I'm
cords
just like
around and
getting you more in the. We need to be more 50-50.
yeah. But yeah, it's been nice. Hey, Ed and Suzanne.
So I'm trying to. It's hard for me to keep up with the comments. Unless of course you super chat us, then it's like big and colorful. Anyways, so
I don't even know where that button is. I should, in theory, be able to
if you see
that.
questions, let us know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are here currently in Colorado, but we kind of want to tell you about what happened. So we started in Arizona, and we thought it might be a couple of nights, and a couple of nights turned into a couple of weeks. And we ended up camping in the Coronado National Forest. And we picked a spot. It was completely secluded, like nobody for miles. We didn't even have neighbors we could see. And we could still have campfires at that point. So we ended up cooking over the fire a lot. But this spot that we were in was like 3 miles from the Mexico border. So a couple funny things happened. First of all, I had to call Verizon because my phone kept thinking I was in Mexico, and every single day I got an international phone charge. Even though I was on the US side, I was 3 miles from the border. So I had to call Verizon and get some charges removed. But the other thing is that we started to run a lot, and there was literally not like nobody around. And so the border patrol agents, which we would see several times a day, every day, like they are just driving up and down this dirt road. They kind of got to know us because we were camped there, and the border patrol didn't care that we were there. And the really interesting thing to me was how nice they were and how that actually made us feel super safe. So these border patrol agents knew we were there, and Kendrick can speak to his experience because he actually ran down to the border more than I did.
Yeah, I ran to the border quite a bit. It's kind of interesting. Mandy's got a picture somewhere on an iPad because we don't know if we can actually show photos like a slideshow while we're doing this. But she got a photo I took just while I'm on a run. There's a road that goes parallel to the border, and it's the very first one, I think, or no?
No, it is the first one. Oh,
second one.
Okay.
But she's
I'm a
gonna
visual
show
person.
it. Maybe get it closer. the fence that you see
Oh, you can
there
see the
along the
reflection.
side of the road, that
This
is
fence.
the Mexico-U.S. border. So I'm on the road on the U.S. side, and then Mexico's on the other side. And I don't know, it's just like little hop, skip, and jump away. And I'd go out and run on that road almost every day. And one time I had a border patrol guy come by as I'm running on there, and he just pulls up beside me and looks at me out the window. Do you think it's a good idea to be running all alone this close to the border? And I just look at him. I don't know. Is it not a good idea? I mean, I'm not familiar with the area. Um, and he just kind of gave me, some precautionary, uh, you know, pieces of advice and things like that. But I never had a problem when I was there. There's definitely signs of, you know, crossings across the border, um, mainly in the form of water bottles and sometimes abandoned clothing. Maybe somebody's wearing something at night and then it gets hot
Mhm.
during the day and they shed it. But mainly just a lot of empty water bottles.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never really saw anything beyond that. Never felt unsafe.
I have to say, I actually felt safer there knowing we had people there watching over us versus in just some random national forest where nobody really cares. Um, so that was kind of nice. And then for water, because we were dry camping, we had some friends who lived in town about 45 minutes away. So we would go there about once a week to get a shower and go to the grocery store, obviously, all in our face masks and with our hand sanitizer and all that. Um, but when we didn't want to drive to town, there was a visitor center not far away. And even though the visitor center was closed, most national forests and national parks have like a water filter place where you can get water. So we took our sanitizing spray and our wipes and we like wiped off the nozzles and the buttons and everything. And we filled our a couple of 6-gallon water jugs and then we take that back to the camper and just refill it. And I mean, it sounds like a pain in the butt, but it actually worked really well. It,
And
you know?
then maybe like a 2 to 3 mile drive from our campsite, there's this perfect little water hole.
Oh yeah.
Probably about 6 to 7 foot deep, and you could just kind of jump from about a foot above it and do a little bit of a cannonball
Yeah.
down into the water, and just this nice cold water that felt great after running all day and 80, 90 degrees, which is what it started getting up to before we left there. And it was just always perfect to go there. um, you
Yeah.
know clean off a little bit so Mandy can tolerate my smell.
um, yeah. It helps.
Yeah,
It was too cold for me though. So
I like cold water.
I just used the other thing we do while we're on the topic of bathing is we honestly have not had great access to showers. In our normal life, normally we would be teaching photo workshops, we'd be in and out of towns where we have friends, we'd be in and out of hotels, in and out of campgrounds with showers. So normally we're able to find showers. But for the last couple of weeks, all of the public showers are closed, all the campground showers are closed, and we're not doing our normal workshops. We've canceled all that stuff. So, albeit I have not I shower about once a month now, which that sounds disgusting, but that doesn't mean I don't clean. So we use these things called a shower pouch, which is this little packet. It's got a 1 foot by 2 foot, basically a wet wipe, but it's like super wet and it's really big. And I swear, when you wipe yourself off with that, you feel like you just took a shower. Um, and I also wash my face quite often in the sink. And then we just got a little outdoor solar shower, which we can wash our hair with. Oh, I have a picture of it too. Wait, because I have my iPad.
Yeah.
So our solar shower is made by Nemo, and it is the Helio LT. Yeah, because it's a little bit bigger. This is what it looks like.
It's about 5.7 gallons, I believe.
Yeah. And it's really great. So it has this pump that like pressurizes it right there. And you like pump it with your foot. And then the little nozzle will sputter for like 7 minutes. And that's enough for us to wash our hair. And actually, I think I even have this is Kendrick washing his hair. while I'm making fun of him after I've already washed my hair. So that was like a couple weeks ago. So it's really a helpful thing that we've kind of gotten into, which has been pretty awesome. So then after Arizona, we decided it was getting kind of hot and we needed to book it up to Colorado, where we have, we're just familiar with it. It's home for me, and I think it's Kendrick's second home. And so we love the mountains here, and we wanted the weather, and we wanted to get into something. So we came, and we're currently camping on some BLM near Salida that we have camped at before, and we knew it would be a great place to get out, to exercise. Let me know if people have questions.
Oh yeah.
To get out, to start exercising, to just be in a beautiful place. So when we arrived, I'm going to show you guys this too. This was our first, let me get it close enough. This was our first sunset. Like the first night we were here, and I just instantly felt like, oh my gosh, we're home. And then this is the sunset of the mountains that we're looking at just a little bit later. And it's just beautiful. It's just such a beautiful freaking place. Oh yeah, and here we are. So this is where we then spent, this is our camper with our chairs. And when we first got here, there was not a fire ban. So we cooked over the fire, I don't know, maybe twice. And then after that, the fire ban went into place, and so we couldn't cook over the fire anymore, which is a big bummer. But it was still fun. So we started cooking on our outdoor propane stove, which was kind of exciting. So we got this jet boil. I think this is called the Genesis Base Camp system. And it basically, we got a hose to hook it up to our big propane tanks, our big, I don't know, how many pounds are they? Whatever, 20 pounds? They're 20-pound tanks. Yeah. Like your typical grill tank. Or you can run them off the little 1-pound green tanks. But anyway, so we started cooking on those because we couldn't have a fire, which was a bummer. But they were awesome. And
so we have two 20-pound propane tanks in our camper. They're both located at the front of the camper on the tongue and a little diamond plate box. So, I mean, obviously only one's being used by the camper at a time. So the other one, assuming it's not empty, we can just disconnect that, take it out, move it wherever we want, and then use the, I think it's a 6-foot hose.
6 foot, yeah.
6-foot hose for the little 2-burner stove, and then we can cook wherever we want. So that's nice. Versus we could just leave the propane tank in the tongue box and then disconnect it and then reconnect our 6-foot hose, but then we'd have to be somewhere within 6 feet of the tongue of the trailer.
Yeah, it's nice to take it out. You can take it anywhere in your campsite.
Yeah.
So Brian just asked what the fire ban expectations are. I'm probably gonna stay on. So unfortunately, the fire ban is not because of actual environmental reasons. Like, it's pretty wet. It's not that dry out. Well, it's getting drier.
It's super dry.
But
out.
When they first started the
really
fire
dry
ban,
out right now.
When they first started the fire ban, though, they announced it was because they don't want to risk taking first responders or emergency responders from any COVID crisis that might come up. So they're just taking safety precautions, which means, I mean, I don't think all summer they're going to lift the fire ban in Colorado.
Yeah, so
probably.
Typically the way it'll go in Colorado during a year like this year, which is not the greatest of snow years, but not a bad one, but everything is melted off really fast. The high country, which is basically kind of 10,000 feet and higher up to 14,000 feet, has been pretty accessible since, I don't know, probably about 2-3 weeks ago at least, maybe longer. So typically you'll be able to have fires early in the season, things dry out a little bit, and then all of a sudden everything's so dry that the fire danger is really high, so they put fire bans in place. So I don't think this year we will be able to have a campfire ever in Colorado.
That's all right. We got propane fire. It's fine. We got a propane stove, got propane. Todd mentioned he saw that the new tabs, the 2021s, they added, like, underneath I think it's up in the front. I can't remember. No, it's the back.
It's in the back.
The back of the
back
2021
driver's side,
tabs
I believe.
have like an access to the propane, the main propane, which is awesome because you can plug in a stove with a 6-foot hose or a campfire, those little propane campfires. So that's really cool. We don't have one of those, but yeah, they definitely added that in the new ones, and that's pretty awesome. And how many? Oh, we can talk about solar now too. And just asked.
I was just answering
Oh,
that
that's
typing,
fine.
but yeah.
How many watts of solar we have? We ended up getting 280 watt of the curved panels that actually come from New Camp. So that's 360 or something.
We have two 190s.
Oh, two 190s. Yeah. So that's 380.
So the Tab 400 comes standard with a 190 watt panel, I believe, from Sunflare. They're flex panels that are mounted to the roof. They won't add a secondary panel from the factory, but there is plenty of room to add one on there. So we went ahead and did that. So we have two of the 190 watt panels. The problem is the charge controller they use on their solar setup, and that's basically the thing between your solar panel and your battery that talks back and forth between the two. Correct me if I'm wrong, one of the Bobs. So the charge controller, I don't believe, is set up to handle 2 watts or 2 panels at the same time feeding into it. So we had to get a secondary charge controller as well. So we have 2 panels, each going into their own charge controller and each going into the battery, I believe, is our setup. But there's a reason I studied chemical engineering instead of electrical. So
yeah. So anyway, it is plenty for us to run. We're very minimal people. As you guys have probably seen from some of our videos, like we don't have a lot of electric appliances. We don't use a microwave. We don't use hair dryers, blenders. We don't use any of that stuff. So our biggest draw is probably our computers and like charging batteries and stuff. And during a sunny day, it's plenty. Of course, we could not run AC or any big appliance on that. But it's definitely enough for us to live on because we live a pretty simple life. And I love that. I love that we can live off of a little bit of solar. I just had to laugh because Discovering Loch Ness said that you and Sonia just did your first 14er in Florida. And I was like, what? And then you said you did 14 steps. And that's pretty funny. I like that comment. So good job. But yeah, so we got
Discovering Loch Ness is Dwight and Sonia, right?
I think so.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Dwight Loch. Yeah,
Dwight Loch. And
we don't know all your YouTube names, so if we're a little off, then forgive us. Oh, and Frank and Liz say hi. I got your videos. Okay, so we get to Colorado, right? And we're happy because it's a little bit cooler, and we've been able to start running more, which I can't tell you guys how hard the work-life balance is when you work for yourself and you live on the road. I tend to overwork my hours, but not necessarily in productivity. And then I feel really guilty anytime I'm not working. Like if we watch a movie, I'm like, I should be working, even if that work isn't very productive. And so this has been very helpful because it's given Kendrick a chance to really get back into his long running. He had a 100-mile race that was supposed to be like this weekend. Yeah. It was supposed to be this weekend. And so he had been training for it. And of course they canceled it, but it got him into running. And of course, that got me back into running a little bit too, which is always helpful.
Yeah. The good thing is I was looking back probably early May, and we have a little scale that we step on every morning and we track our weight, and we've been doing that for a couple years now. And I could look back at the last few Mays and realize that I was 20 pounds lighter this May than I was the last 2 Mays because I was training for my race, and I'm trying to get in shape and everything. So it's kind of neat to start the summer and already be in shape versus be like, all right, well, now it's summer and I need to get in shape so I can go out and have fun and do some long runs. So that's been really nice.
Yeah.
So we've been here in Colorado, and I've been able to go out and do a couple longer runs on some of the trails here and go
Yeah.
up a couple 14ers and all that. So 14,000 foot mountains.
Yeah, he just did 3 in one day, David said. He just, what, like 2 or 3 days ago? He did like
Yeah.
a 15-mile route or
Yeah, it wasn't
something,
very long,
going
but
up
it
like
was
3 of them.
a lot of uphill. It was about 15 and a half miles and about 8,000 feet of ascending and 8,000 feet of descending.
Yeah.
So quite steep routes. So, I mean, I always like to just go straight up the mountain versus switchbacking up it if I have a choice, just because it takes the same amount of effort. So you might as well just walk straight up it and make it the shortest line possible between A and B. So
If you're insane, like
maybe.
if you're crazy like him. So on this, there was actually another day. It wasn't the day he did the 314ers. He's just been trying to work up his mileage. So there was a day where he decided to do 20 miles, I want to say, and he like mapped out this route. And I was like, hey, that's really cool. I'm going to go do this 5-mile route instead. So he leaves early and he's off on his run. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go from our campsite. I'm going to run 2.5 miles up and 2.5 miles back. It's going to be 5 miles. It'll be easy. It'll be great. So I start running up this dirt road, and this is BLM land we're on. So it's public land. Anyone can camp here. But I mean, there's still like rules. And I start running up, and about a half a mile up the road, I'm just jogging along, and all of a sudden I hear this dog barking off to my left, and I look over, and there is a Rhodesian Ridgeback booking it right at me, barking with like a bark that is not a nice, playful, I just want to see who you are bark. It's a I'm going to attack you bark. And they were probably how many yards away? Like
30 to
at
40.
least 30 to 40 yards away
Yeah.
from me. So from the time
Yeah.
I look over and this dog's running at me, I have a good 10 or 15 seconds. And I know, like, I'm just telling myself this dog is going to attack me when it gets to me. And there's nothing I can do. I cannot outrun it. It was way faster than me. And I know it's going to attack me. And the owners, they stand up and they start walking after it, shouting, "Hey, Roxy, come back. Hey, Roxy." But of course, it's like it's already on a like war path for me. And sure enough, as soon as it gets to me, it just like chomps onto my leg. And I don't know, I'd like to think I have a better reaction than this. I'd like to think I have a more defensive punch the dog in the face reaction, but I didn't. I just like kept my hands down because I didn't want it to like attack my neck or something. And I just started yelling at the owners, "Get your effing dog off me." And they were walking because they just didn't think it was going to bite me. And then, like, 30 seconds later, they finally get their dog off of me. And they're like, "Oh, are you okay?" And I was like, I had a lot of cuss words, I gotta say. I was like, your effing dog just bit me. And anyway, they were apologetic and kind, but they just didn't do what they should have done. And because I am a image maker, this is the dog bite. And like right after it happened, I mean, it got some puncture wounds in me. That's it right there. So from camp, I have to say, like at that moment, I was super stunned. I just like, I was in like a brain freeze and I didn't know the right questions to ask. Who are you? What's your name? Does your dog have rabies? Like, I've just been bit. And he's like, "Do you want a Band-Aid?" And I was like, "No, I want you to put your effing dog on a leash." And so I turned around and I walked the half mile back to camp. And that's when I took this cell phone shot. And I texted Kendrick, who was still on his run, that I just got bit by this dog. I cleaned it up. I got in the truck. I drove back to their campsite because I didn't want to be out of the car. And I got all their information and all this and that. And it's much better now, but oh my gosh, I've never been afraid of dogs before. I love dogs. And now I'm like suddenly afraid of them. And it like totally sucks. Kendrick's responding to all your comments.
Yeah, sorry. I am engaged. I'm just engaged in
No,
a
it's
different
fine.
way.
I can talk forever. I can talk forever.
I can attest to that. She has no shortage of words to say.
So yeah, like this whole dog bite thing was insane. And then, you know, we tell our parents because we're good kids, and our parents are freaking out because I haven't had a tetanus shot. I verified that the dog had its rabies shot. Oh, and by the way, Todd Heidenreich, thank you so much. I'm working on those virtual new camp videos like crazy. You have no idea.
Mandy just told me the number earlier. It was something like 170 different video clips from all the people who either would have been there or wish they could have been there, or didn't quite make registration in time.
Okay, but I gotta finish the dog story before we go to that. Virtual new camp next.
Back to the dog.
Anyway, so we told our parents, and they were like basically insistent that I go get a tetanus shot. So we go to public health services, which is closed because of COVID, which I think is essential. I call every freaking doctor's office in Salida, and they won't see me without being a previous patient or having an appointment. And you're supposed to get your tetanus shot within like 72 hours of this bite. And I really didn't want to go to the ER because I don't currently have insurance. And I even though this other guy's going to have to pay for it, I'm trying not to, Anyway, and then finally somebody suggests that we go to Walmart. And we go to the Walmart in Salida, and we walk in, and we just say we need a tetanus shot. They give us a tetanus shot. They gave me one for $30 with no insurance. And I was just like, this is amazing. And then they gave Kendrick one because he has insurance for free. So that was amazing. Yeah. So we both got our tetanus shots, and my dog wound is healing, and it's not infected. And did I report it to the local animal control or police? Gerard asked. Yes. I made a police report because I'll be sending at least the $30 bill and my $100 virtual doctor's appointment to the guy. So yeah, I definitely made a police report and everything, but I didn't make it you can make it a vicious dogs report, which has the chance of them putting the dog down. And I really didn't want to do that. So I made the police report, but I said, I don't want to like make it a vicious dog crime report, whatever that is.
The thing was, the owner, I mean, it was a fairly new dog. It was a rescue dog. I mean, there's some connotations that go along with that I don't know that there's any validation in those connotations or anything like that. I'm not going to say one way or the other, but I think they just made the mistake of thinking, oh, we're pretty far off the road. We can let our dog off leash and let the dog go explore and kind of see how the dog behaves. Yeah. And the dog made a mistake. The owners made a mistake, but the owners owned up to it. So they were very apologetic, very remorseful and everything. So that goes a long way in kind of the decisions you make with, oh, do we take legal action or anything like that? And obviously we did not. But, we had to file the police report just because if it did get infected, then we needed some sort of evidence there that, hey, this dog did attack Mandy on this day at this time and this happened. Yeah. So that's the only reason we did the police report. And then also, if the dog does continue to do that, then at least there's a history there of the dog being kind of violent. But I mean, we love dogs, and we don't want to see one ever put down or anything like that. So,
okay, so that's my dog story. It was crazy, but I promise y'all I'm healing okay. You can still see the 3 puncture wounds on my leg, but the bruise is gone, and they totally don't look infected. So, going back to what Todd said, Todd Heidenreich, he was saying he was looking forward to our virtual new camp and also hoping to see the barefoot at Hershey in September. So 2 topics. First of all, the barefoot was supposed to be out earlier this year, but the new camp factory had to shut down for a couple months. They obviously got pretty slowed down, but they have told me they still hope to have it out by the end of the year. So that's the news on the barefoot. Like no date, but just like by the end of the year. That's what they've told me. I also would say a couple of little birds have told me that the Hershey show is very likely not to happen. So if you're like totally banking on the Hershey show and going to the Hershey show, this is a big RV show for those of you who haven't heard of it. It takes place in Hershey, Pennsylvania. It's just like a giant RV show where everybody shows off their new stuff. Camping World / Gander RV already pulled out, and they're one of their main attendees. And I just have to say I would be very surprised if the show actually happened. We're currently scheduled to work it if it does happen, but just don't bank on it because it may not happen. And so we may not see the barefoot there. And then in regards to your other comment about being excited about the virtual U Camp, for those of you who don't know what U Camp is an annual event held by New Camp. It's a big trailer rally where all of the awesome people who own tags and tabs and Siriuses and we all come together and camp outside the factory in Sugar Creek, Ohio. And it's tons of fun. We eat like way too much food. The Amish people cook for us.
Donuts
way
and
too
pizza
much Amish food.
And then everybody there. I mean, it's a great thing that we go there and it feels like every time we see is a friend. I mean, obviously there's people we know that are friends, and then there's people that they know us just from watching videos, but we haven't met them yet, and maybe we know their name through social media or YouTube or anything like that. Or maybe we don't know their name at all, but they still feel like they know us. So it's every interaction like a friendship. And if somebody sees us with an empty hand or an empty glass, they just will not let that slide. And eventually you got to get to the point where you're just like, look, enough's enough. I'm trying to go out for a run in an hour or so.
It's a really amazing gathering where the New Camp employees really take care of everybody. They feed us Amish breakfast. They feed us Amish dinner. They take us on tour factories and all this. And it's great. And of course, this year it was canceled and it was supposed to take place next week. So Kendrick and I volunteered. We're just doing this because we want everyone to get together to make a virtual U Camp where people would send us in videos. So next week, for all of you who follow us on YouTube, which is everybody here, I presume, we're going to be putting out 3 videos, one on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And this is of like the 22nd, the week of the 22nd. So not like, like a week from now. Yeah, a week from today will be the first one. We're going to be putting out 3 live premieres. So it'll be a video I've already edited, but we'll be chatting live to make it kind of a live event of all these videos everyone sent in. And so you guys will be seeing those 3 videos coming out next week. And I'm super stoked for it, even though it's going to be like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so much work. I'm kind of stressing about it, but it's going to be good. Anyway, so I haven't totally been reading all these questions. Have there been any that I need to address? This is the comment guy right here. He's like focused.
Hey, I'm commenting.
Okay, read me a question that I can talk about that you've seen.
I think I've
or if somebody wants to super chat a question,
I think I've answered.
I'll totally answer that one.
Pretty much every question.
But what can we talk about?
I don't know. You had a list of stuff to talk about.
I did. I do have more stories. I have tons of stories.
So I'll take a little moment to talk about myself for like.
Oh, Kendrick wants to talk about himself.
30 seconds, but that's probably going to end up being like 3 minutes. So remember a couple years ago, Mandy made a video.
Wait, hang on. Wendy has a question too. Can we do this first?
We can do that first.
I mean, Wendy gave us $13.99 for this question. So we're ordering a Tab 320S this fall to pick up next spring. Thanks to, that's not even a question, Wendy. I love you. You're awesome. You're amazing, and you'll love your 320.
You will.
If it's a 2021, you're going to love the upgrades. If you saw the video, you got your propane thing. You got a better stove than us. You have a bigger water tank. The 2021 has a 20-gallon freshwater tank, which is amazing. It's just a way better camper. You're going to love it. So, okay.
All right.
Yeah, 2021. Yay, awesome. Wendy, I'm excited for you. Okay, well, now Kendrick can talk about himself.
But get that trailer and then
come meet us.
I don't know. Yeah, come meet us somewhere. We're always meeting up with the people on the road here and there if it just kind of happens to work out.
Canada, look at that. Look at her giving us Canadian dollars.
Canadian dollars. I like Canadian dollars.
Yeah, me too. I like them too.
Yeah.
Silly Canadians.
So I'm sorry if I'm squinting. We've got like 3 or 4 lights shining right in my eyes.
I'm a photographer and I will not deal with an unwell lit video.
I feel like I can't actually open my eyes without getting a little bit blinded.
Even though it's super pixelated.
Yeah. But yeah, Mandy a couple of years ago did a video of me trying to do a big project in the mountains here in Colorado that basically starts right here where we're camped out, give or take several miles, but close enough, within about 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes. But it's a project to try to do 15 of Colorado's 14,000 foot peaks in one effort. So basically just keep going, never stop, probably hardly ever sleep. It's 120 miles with about 50,000 feet of going up and 50,000 feet of going down. And I don't know, just my race getting canceled and being here kind of in the area with all the mountains that I want to go up and down, and doing a couple runs up and down them has me inspired. So keep an eye out for that. Might be attempting that again here in the very near future.
Yeah, so if you look, that was what, 2 years ago?
That was 2018, yeah.
It was 2018. And I posted a video, and I can't remember the title, but it was something along the lines of like, something about passion, like a man and his passion,
pursuing
your passions.
A man in the mountains.
A man in the mountains. Pursuing your passions. A man in the mountains. Anyway, that's what the video was called. It was from about 2 years ago, and it is one of my favorite videos for a couple of reasons. First of all, because of what Kendrick was attempting to do, which was this like just ridiculous run, and then also I had a really fun time as a photographer, like documenting it. And I'm not a videographer. I don't know. I'm not great at videography. I'm getting there. I'm working on it. But it was one of the first times I got to really tell a story. And it's not one of our more popular videos, but like I love it because I love the music, the storytelling, Kendrick's cell phone video, and then interspersed with our interviews. Anyway, go check it out at some point. I like it. So anyway, point being, he failed, right? Way to go. He failed in 2018. He failed.
I did. But it's only a failure if you didn't learn from it.
Exactly. And so he's going to try again.
I made it to within probably 500 vertical feet of my 11th of 15th summits. And I used this little storm that rolled in where it was starting to snow and hail and rain and lightning and everything, and I hunkered under this big boulder. I used that as my excuse for quitting. Yeah. Just I wanted to quit, and I was just looking for an excuse because I had actually spent a lot longer than I wanted to for trying to attempt the route. I was up for probably close to 50 something hours without any sleep. And then I bailed on the route. And Mandy and her mom were surprised to find me in the back of the truck asleep.
Oh my gosh, it worried the crap out of me.
And I slept for about 2 or 3 hours. And then I woke up and kind of sat around all day and tried to...
I gave you like a 4-hour massage, and he didn't want to keep going. And I was like, no, you're going to keep going.
Rehydrate and all that. And then I went back out again, and I was up for probably another 35 to 40 hours. And then I finally kind of bailed out on the route. But as long as you have water and, stay hydrated and stay up on your calories, eat a lot of food, you'd be surprised how long you can go without sleep before you really start to hallucinate vividly.
No. Don't tell them this. Don't listen to him. That's him. That's not you.
The hallucinations are pretty amazing. I've done another route in the mountains where I was out for I don't know, probably like mid 40 hours, but I didn't eat very much. And the hallucinations were like you see in movies when they're recreating somebody on LSD or something, where the trees, I remember seeing them and they would actually come to life and all that.
Look,
sleep deprivation is an
Jim
interesting thing.
Ross said that wasn't a failure, simply a postponed success. I like that.
I like that too.
Good job, Jim.
This year is the year. I'm going to do it.
There are much easier ways to hallucinate. I have to tell you this too. Something really hilarious. We'll get off of this in a second, but I'm crewing Kendrick through this, which means I'm meeting him at specific points on his long run through the mountains, which are really hard to get through. They're very rough 4-wheel drive roads, and my mom came with me for this, and it was so amazing. So I had my mom to help me just so I'd have somebody there with me. I hardly slept for 3 days because 3 hours later I'd have to go meet him somewhere, and often I would have to like hike into a spot to meet him, and it wasn't super far, but now and then it was like the middle of the night I had to hike in somewhere to meet him. And there was this one night, it's in our video, but there was this one night at this lake called Clohessy Lake where I knew it was going to be cold and I knew Kendrick was going to need me. And my mom and I had planned to drive up to this spot to meet him, but we got to the road and we looked at it and we're like, there's no way we're driving up this road. Like, it's just way too hard to drive up. And so I had told Kendrick I may or may not meet him there. So even if we hadn't gone, he would have been like, whatever, they couldn't make it. But we go back to camp that night, my mom and I, and we're sitting there, and I just feel so much guilt for not being able to be there. It's like midnight, and I told my mom, I was like, I'm hiking up there. I'm sorry. I'll be back in a couple hours. I have to hike up there. And so I hiked up there, and I am not even on this crazy journey, and I'm standing there waiting for him in this crazy cold in the middle of the night, sleep deprived, and I'm hallucinating. And I'm not doing 100th of what he's doing. So it was just like, wow, if I'm going through this, I was seriously standing there waiting for him, like hallucinating, and it was intense. But anyway, so we got to do it again this year. We got to make it this year. That's the point.
I think my parents are still watching out there. I haven't seen them in a while. I haven't been home in a while. My dad just had his 60th birthday on May 31st. So happy late birthday to you, even though I said it on your birthday. But I would love it because I've had him crew me for the very first 100-mile race, foot race that I finished. I had tried 2 or 3 times before that, and then he came out and crewed me for one, and I finished it, and he just wouldn't let me quit. And I don't know if I could maybe get them to come out, my mom and dad, and my dad would love to be out there with Mandy at all the cruise spots helping me out.
We'll hallucinate together.
Yeah,
it'll be great.
So we'll see. Maybe I can get him out there.
So that'll be a good project this year.
Yeah. Like I said, 30 seconds turned into.
Yeah, that's Kendrick talking about himself. Yeah, way to go, Kendrick.
Allow me to toot my own horn.
So I don't want to make this too long, but I do want to talk about a couple other things. Ann Lutz just asked, have we done the highest peak in Texas? It's Guadalupe Peak. And I want to say, yes, we have. But that brings us into another one of my favorite topics, which is that we have done, we're on a quest, a long-term, no end goal date until we're too old, a lifetime project,
maybe,
of getting to every state high point in all 50 states. And we're actually at like, I want to say 26. I think we're at 26.
25 to 27.
And we have done Texas, yeah.
We did Hawaii.
We did Hawaii. That one was intense, man.
Yeah, that was a fun one. You don't think of dang near a 14,000 foot peak when you think of Hawaii, but that is Hawaii State High Point, almost 14,000 feet.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
I promise we'll keep this under an hour. That gives us 11 more minutes.
Oh gosh.
So anyway, that's been like a super fun project. Yeah.
Michelle Lamb or Lam, forgive me if I say it wrong either way. What?
We're terrible.
Yeah, well,
what did she ask?
Lamb. It looks like lamb.
Okay.
So she asked, what do you not have in the tab camping that you wish you had? Also, do you miss anything from your old life working 9 to 5?
Oh man, those are both pretty deep questions we could probably talk about forever. So let's try to be quick. Do you want to go first?
I
Or
can
do you
answer
want
it
me to
pretty quick.
Okay, he'll go first. He'll go
All right.
first.
So what do I not have in the tab camping that I wish I had? Basically any outdoor gear that I used to have when I was in my truck by myself. Skis, ski boots, ice climbing gear, any extra climbing gear that I don't have with us right now. That's what I miss. Because I used to have all of that all the time in the truck. And then, do I miss anything from my old life working 9 to 5? I do. When I was in Boulder working, I had the ability to do things on a regular basis, and one of the things I love to do, I call it scrambling. Other people might call it free soloing. It's a form of climbing where you're not using ropes or protection or anything. So if you fall, it's pretty high consequence. But I was able to go and I was able to scramble every morning before work and every evening after work and do these pretty awesome climbing routes, like 1,000 feet of rock where you're just going up and in your running shoes and you don't really think about it and you're just enjoying yourself. So that's what I miss most about the 9 to 5 is being able to do that every day.
I have both. Okay. What do I not have that I wish I had? If you asked me that question 4 years ago when I first hit the road, I would have a long list of things I wish I had with me. But I think the most important point here is that, like, after 4 years of not living with things that I thought I had to have, like some clothes and some objects and some hobbies, and there were a lot of items that I just thought I had to have. And after 4 years, I'm finally coming to terms with the fact that I don't need those things. And I'm really pretty happy without them. I think that's like the biggest lesson I've learned in 4 years. And it is not something you can learn overnight. So if you're thinking about going full time, when you do go full time, I guarantee whatever you take with you, at least half of it you don't need. We have gone through so many iterations of dumping out all our stuff, getting rid of half our stuff, dumping out all our stuff, getting rid of half that stuff, dumping out all our stuff, getting rid of half that stuff. And it's hard at first and it takes time, but you learn to love to just not have stuff. And it's pretty great. And I think what I miss about a 9 to 5 is kind of like what Kendrick said, is just basically having like a routine. And his was scrambling up the mountain, which was not mine, but I was living in Austin, Texas, and I had a routine and I lived alone and I could do my routine every day. So I would go to work and I would go to the gym, or I would run through my neighborhood and I'd go to my apartment gym. And I was the fittest I've ever been because I had so much control over what I ate and what I did every day. And it was routine. The hard thing about living on the road is that we could wake up somewhere different every day. And this COVID thing is a little bit different. Like, COVID's kind of kept us more stationary, but like our typical life is we go on these workshops and we take people out to eat and people take us out to eat. And then we do the workshop and we don't have time to go work out. And there's just no routine. And that's one of the reasons why, this sounds really silly, but my morning coffee is very important to me, which Kendrick makes every day, because it's one thing that can kind of be routine. We wake up, we have coffee. Great. And we
like
don't
Todd
have it.
said here.
I'm not even reading.
No, we'll run for food.
Yeah.
Or I thought it was something like we'll run for food.
Yeah.
Mandy's talking about us going out to eat all the time and everything. And I really like to eat.
Yeah,
not
Kendrick
necessarily the
loves
most
to eat. Oh my
healthy
gosh.
food. I will eat anything in sight. That's why I run so much.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard. So I think I even talked about it in a video blog like freaking 3 years ago, but I feel the same way still like it just, without having that routine in your life, everything gets flipped upside down and you have to make an extra special effort to stay healthy and fit and still enjoy the things you want to enjoy, which is a perfect break to talk about what we're drinking. What are you all drinking tonight? We are drinking, because we're in Colorado. This is not from Salida. Turn it around.
I've got to do the reveal.
The reveal. It is a 10th,
Wait, maybe I should do it the other way.
10th Mountain Rye Whiskey, which is made in Gypsum, Colorado, although they have a tasting room in Vail, and it's one of our favorite Colorado ryes. And you cannot find this outside of the state, I don't think.
You probably can.
Maybe. You might be able to find it at like a big liquor store. All right. Coffee in the AM and whiskey in the PM. Hot toddy. Robin's drinking a hot toddy. Patsy's drinking lemonade. POA says sounds good. Mama Minnow's drinking bourbon. Johnny's drinking a West Coast IPA.
Ah. So
Kendrick likes IPAs.
Yeah, I love IPAs. I just had earlier today.
Too pixelated. Yeah, it was too pixelated to see it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, guys. I'm really sorry.
But Mandy made me do one of the clips for what I would have brought to UCamp here, in the coming week.
Milk. Sorry, Rob's drinking chocolate milk.
But I would have brought Colorado beer, which is one of my favorite hoppy beers in the state. It's called the Epic Day Double IPA, and it's from Eddie Line Brewing Company out of Buena Vista, or how they pronounce it, Buena Vista, Colorado.
Weirdos.
So I had one of those earlier because I had to crack it open to put it in the glass for the aesthetics of the video.
Look at that. We got everything.
Anything worth doing is worth doing right.
Sangria, Coors, tea.
Oh, I like
Sam
Coors.
Adams, Captain Morgan, chocolate milk. Oh my gosh. Oh, and we watched y'all's recommendations in the kitchen and ordered planetary design. Good job, Ann.
Good.
It is a product that, like, I mean, we make a little bit when you shop through our link, but that's not why I sell it. I sell it because we have literally used that thing every day for, it's got to be close on 3 years now. Like every day for 3 years. And the French press itself, yeah, it's got like a few chips here and there, but it works perfect. I mean, they're just love chips. So Robert's got his Woods Rye.
Oh, perfect. Woods High Mountain Distillery, if you watched our Colorado 14er project, was distillery number 14 of the project on day number 14. It's located in Salida. The owner, operator, head distiller, whatever you want to call him, jack of all trades, is also the mayor of the city of Salida. So it was a very interesting experience going there because we went in the back and we talked with this guy for probably close to 2 hours while he just opened up all these random barrels and let us taste a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and told us, all right, this one's never going to hit the shelves. But one of the ones that he let us try was the rye. And that was last summer. And now here we are this summer and he's got it in bottles. So it is quite delicious.
All right. I'm going to say we have like 2 minutes left because I don't want this thing to be over an hour. We're not those people.
All right.
Who take all your time.
We got one more question we haven't answered. And maybe we just, will they still be there whenever we go after the video? And we can,
they're all going to be comments.
So we can like text respond to
people. We'll
people?
Respond to all your comments.
Okay.
I just don't want to keep people up all night because this started, talk about freaking technical difficulties. When I first scheduled this thing on YouTube, I really tried to figure out what time zone it was scheduling it in, and I really thought it was going to start an hour earlier than it did. And then we get on to go live, and I'm like, it's supposed to start for another hour. So that was my first mistake. Then my second mistake was not like being able to test it with our crappy internet. So I'm sorry. So anyway, I hope at least the audio has all come through. Like I said, this is kind of like a pixelated podcast. We should name it that. It's a pixelated podcast.
Is that how the video will be forever on YouTube?
I don't know. Maybe. I have no idea. We might be forever pixelated in history. But it's okay. Next time.
Only the best for our viewers.
Next time we'll do it in a time zone I understand, and maybe when we have a better internet connection. So I hope it was still at least entertaining audio wise. In any case, so what's coming up basically for us is next week you're going to see those 3 virtual U camp videos. Going to take pretty much all my time. And then after that, you're going to see some more adventures. We're going to go backpacking. Kendrick's going to do his 100 and something mile challenge again. We'll see if we can do that again. And if the Hershey show happens, we'll go. I don't know that it will, though. But we'll do what we can for you guys. So we're just excited to figure out how we can make the most of this weird time.
But again, those 3 videos that Mandy will be editing for the virtual U camp,
they're for everyone.
She's gonna have to edit that for everybody, but also when those videos are premiering, we're gonna be up around Steamboat Springs, Colorado, spending 3 or 4 days camping with her parents and her sister, brother-in-law, nieces, nephews. So we're gonna have to do some things to make that work. Maybe make a little drive to go into town and get some internet real quick or something. But we're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
And thank you to those of you who used our new super chat feature and gave us a couple of dollars for our time. We will spend it on gas to get down the road to take you to the next adventure. So thank you so much. We'll try to, I don't know. I know this one was kind of like tech weird, maybe not the best experience, but maybe we'll try to do this like once a month-ish. I don't want to make promises, but maybe we could do this like once a month or so.
Give or take. Yeah.
Anyway, we love you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for subscribing to our channel. And find us on Facebook, Instagram, all the things. And if you ever have a question, message us. Yeah. We're like ridiculously personal, and we spend way too much time answering questions for people we don't know because we love you.
Also, if you feel like there's maybe any topics that we haven't ever touched on in videos,
yeah, let us know.
Let us know about that. And I mean, there's no guarantee we'll actually do it because maybe it's not something.
I promise.
Maybe it's not something that fits in with what we do, but if it is, we'll do it.
Yeah.
I think we got another video project coming up for this this summer, again in Colorado, because that's where we're at. And we're pretty excited about it. So stay tuned for that.
We love you guys. We'll try to go through all these comments and answer them, and we'll talk to you soon.
I'm gonna let Mandy answer them, and I'm gonna take.
Wait. Let's do our last cheers. Wait, you guys, we have to do our final cheers. We still got 89 people here. Ready?
That's why we topped off the glasses a little bit.
Okay. Here's to what? Here's to doing a new series of live video chats.
And here's to seeing as many of you all somewhere down the road as we can.
All right.
And I know you might think that's just lip service, but we actually
we do.
Like people reach out to us and we do meet up with them and everything. So
all right. Love and light. My terrible wink.
Buenas noches.